Hello everyone, how you doing? Okay, today's lesson is about where is Earth's water. Okay, so first, first take a look at the globe. What you can notice, Earth's surface is greatly covered with water. This is because almost 3 out of 4 of Earth's surface is covered with water. Okay, and now I'm gonna ask you this question. How can water exist in nature? Yes, it can exist in three main matters, which are the solid, liquid, and gas. Solid, it can exist in glaciers and the ice caps of the pool. Okay, in the liquid, you can see it everywhere in the rain, the in the rain, in the seas, the lakes, the ponds. Okay, everywhere you can find the water. Okay, and the gas, when it turned to gas, when it turned to water vapor. Okay, when it's get hot enough, it will turn to be a vapor. Okay, so this is how we can find, okay, Earth's water. Okay, and this picture here, okay, show us how the water, okay, how the water turns to vapor. Okay, the sun first, okay, give the enough heat to the water, and the water will get hot enough and turn to a gas, which is the vapor, and then they will turn to be the clouds, and we call this process the clouds when they form when water, a vapor in atmosphere, cools and condenses. So this is the condenses of the clouds. This is how the clouds form. Surface water. What do we mean by surface water? Okay, surface water is any water that is above the ground on Earth, and this means that there is also below Earth water, which is the underground water. Okay, and we'll come to this later. So how we can classify surface water? We can classify surface water by the type of water they contain, and mainly they contain, okay, salty water in the seas and the oceans, and we have the fresh water. We can find it in the lakes, the ponds, the rivers, the glaciers. Okay, so let's talk about surface water. Okay, salty water. Salty water, okay, we can find them in the oceans and the seas. Okay, and if you have swum in a sea, I'm sure that you have swallowed some of its water, and you have find out how salty it is. Okay, so seawater tastes very salty, yet taste is not the main problem. Ocean's water is not healthy for drinking, and we'll see later why it's not healthy for drinking. Now, more than 97% of Earth's water is salty water in the oceans and the sea, and this is what we already know about it. Okay, compared to the size, compared to the wide area they conquer. Okay, we can't compare, for example, a lake to the ocean. No. Okay, definitely the ocean is bigger than the lake. Okay, and the lake is fresh and the ocean is kind of salty. Okay, now why ocean water is salty, and with this we'll explain why the ocean's water is not drinkable. The ocean is a mixture of water and dissolved salts. The salt comes from the weather drops on land, so mainly ocean's water is not healthy because of the salt there is in it that comes from the weathering, when the waves break the rocks into small pieces. Okay, now let's talk about the fresh water. Okay, fresh water, only 3% of Earth's water is fresh. We can find them in the lakes, in the ponds, in the glaciers, and the ice caps. Okay, and usually people depend on the small amounts of fresh water in the lakes and rivers. Forms of surface water. Mainly we have the oceans, the seas, the lakes, the ponds, the glaciers, and the rivers. So let's start talking about the ocean and the seas. The ocean is a large body of salt water, and we already know that. Okay, and the sea, what is the difference between the ocean and the sea? Sea is smaller than the ocean and partially surrounded by land. Well, but the ocean is not surrounded by land, and both of them contain salty water. Now about the lakes and ponds. Okay, lakes and ponds. Land surrounds lakes and ponds, which are smaller than the ocean. Lakes are generally larger than the ponds, and both of them contain fresh water. Now about the rivers. Okay, rivers are flowing fresh water, and water in the river moves downhill, and usually they end up in the oceans, in the seas, in lakes, or in other rivers. Okay, now about the glaciers and the ice caps. A glacier is a large body of slowly moving ice. Glaciers form when more snow falls than melts in an area, and the polar ice caps are large areas of ice at the north and the south poles. And thank you for paying attention, and hope you have enjoyed today's lesson. Thank you.